was on Facebook some couple of days ago and I was going through, feeds as usual. And then I came across a poster that was, pasted on the wall of the University of Lagos, that is Unilag, their Student Affairs Division. And the poster reads, "Counseling tips for ladies to avoid sexual harassment and rape." These were some of the instructions that were written on the poster. Don't dress to kill. Don't stay alone with a man. Don't accept gifts frequently from men. Don't mingle carelessly. Learn to say no. The first time I read this, I nodded. The second time I read it, I paused. And then when I read it for the third time, I couldn't stop asking myself one question. Why does almost every instruction tell women what not to do, while saying almost nothing about what men must never do? This is the Nova Frequency, a podcast where you get to think deeper and listen differently. This is not a podcast about teaching you what to think. It is a space for conversation that goes beyond the surface. Conversations people are often too afraid to have or too comfortable to question. My name is Afis Nova. Before anybody misunderstands me, let's establish something. I don't think teaching people how to reduce risk is wrong. We tell people, lock your door, don't expose your ATM pin, don't drink and drive, be careful walking alone at night. These aren't accusations, they are precautions. And some advice on that poster falls into that category. Something like being careful with drinks, avoid isolated places with people you don't trust, learning to be assertive, seeking help when you're uncomfortable. There is wisdom there, but here is where I became uncomfortable. The poster isn't titled "How Men Can Prevent Sexual Violence." It is titled "How Ladies Can Avoid Being Raped." Do you notice the difference? One focuses on stopping the crime. The other focuses on avoiding becoming the victim. Those are not the same conversation. Let's do something. Imagine you are walking through your university. On one wall, you see the poster we just spoke about. Now imagine that directly opposite it, there's another poster. And the poster says, "Counseling tips for men. Do not touch anyone without consent. No means no. Silence is not consent. Being drunk is not consent. Marriage is not automatic consent. Stop when someone says stop. Your masculinity is not measured by how many women you have conquered. Challenge your friends when they arouse women. Respect boundaries, respect bodies, respect people." How would you react? Would you feel strange? Would it make you uncomfortable? Would some people call it offensive? Now ask yourself, why does that poster feel more controversial than the first one? Every time a woman says she's sexually assaulted, listen carefully to the first questions people ask her. Where was she? What was she wearing? Why was she there so late? Was she drinking? Why did she enter his car? Why did she go to his house? The investigation often begins with the victim, not the offender. Did you notice something? And while some of those questions might be asked to understand what happened, they are often asked in a way that quietly suggests, could she have prevented it? But I rarely hear people begin with another question, which is, why did he think he had the right? That question seems to arrive much later, if at all it arrives. Here is where I don't want us to become extreme, because being extreme doesn't solve problems. Some people hear conversations like this, and immediately they say, "Oh, so you are saying women shouldn't be careful?" No, that's not what I'm saying. Life requires wisdom. We all take precautions, not because crime is our fault, but because crime exists. If someone tells you lock your door at night, that doesn't mean you are responsible if a thief breaks in. It simply means you are reducing your risk. The same applies here. Teaching safety isn't wrong, but stopping the conversation there is incomplete. Because safety education without accountability education creates imbalance. One teaches people how to survive, the other teaches people not to become predators. Society needs both. Let's go even deeper. Why do we spend so much time teaching women how not to be raped, instead of asking why some men become rapists in the first place? That is not an easy question, because the answer are not simple. Is it entitlement, power, poor upbringing, peer pressure, pornography, silence, or a culture that laughs at harassment? The society tells boys, the more she says no, the more she wants you to try. How many dangerous ideas do young boys inherit before they become men? Ideas like women like persistent men. If she really didn't want it, she wouldn't have come. Keep asking, she will eventually give in. We are just playing. Those are not harmless beliefs. Sometimes they are the first bricks in the road that leads to sexual violence. And maybe that's where prevention really begins. Not on a poster, not in a courtroom, not after someone has already been assaulted, but inside homes, where father teaches son, where mothers teach sons, where schools teach boys, where churches and mosques teach men, where friends hold friends accountable. Imagine a generation of boys growing up hearing this. You don't need permission to start a conversation, but you do need permission before you touch somebody's body. Imagine how different society might become. There's another question that keeps bothering me. Why do we accept that women should spend their life learning how to avoid dangerous men, instead of demanding a society that produces fewer dangerous men? Think about the emotional weight of that expectation. A girl learns from childhood, don't sit like this, don't wear this, don't go there, don't smile too much, don't be too friendly, don't stay out late, carry pepper spray, share your location, call someone when you get home. Every lessons say the same thing. Be careful. But what if, I say that again, what if we spend the same amount of energy teaching boys one simple lesson? Don't become the reason she has to be careful. So, was the poster wrong? Not entirely. But was it enough? I don't think so. Because preventing sexual violence cannot be the responsibility of potential victims alone. It belongs to parents, to teachers, to religious leaders, to schools, communities, law enforcement, the justice system, and every man who chooses to respect another person's humanity. Perhaps the real question isn't whether women should protect themselves. Of course they should. The real question is, why have we become so comfortable teaching survival instead of demanding accountability? Maybe the safest society isn't one where women become experts at avoiding danger. Maybe it is one where fewer men choose to become dangerous. This has been the Nova Frequency. Remember, think deeper and listen differently.